everyone. How are you all doing? So all are doing well and safe at home? So I'm Subasini, your science mentor. I'm again here with another session of crop production and management. Yes guys, we are already done with some of the agricultural practices. We discussed about the preparation of soil, the sowing of seeds, and also we discussed about the use of manures. How manures are produced by the farmers in their agricultural fields. Isn't it? We discussed about your compost. We discussed about vermicompost, green manure, how the farmers prepare in their field. Yes, so now let's discuss about fertilizers. What are fertilizers? It's nothing but chemicals. Yes, fertilizer is nothing but it's a chemical which is rich in a particular type of nutrients. So what fertilizer is? It's a chemical. It's a chemical which is rich in a particular type of nutrient like nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus. Yes, and it is rich in either nitrogen, either the fertilizer can contain only nitrogen, only phosphorus or only potassium. Yes, so fertilizers are nothing but chemicals which are manufactured in factories. We can't make it in our agricultural field. Yes, fertilizers are such chemicals that can be prepared only in big huge factories. Yes, so these fertilizers are chemicals manufactured in factories, and these fertilizers are rich in a particular one type of nutrient. Either a particular fertilizer is rich in potassium, this fertilizer is rich in phosphorus, yes, or this fertilizer is rich in nitrogen. Any one nutrients. So simply, it's a chemical manufactured in factories, yes, and which is rich in a particular type of nutrients. And one thing to remember, it's very expensive. Rich farmers can use fertilizers. Yes, so it's very expensive when compared with that of manure. Manure is very cheap and best. That can be prepared in our garden even. Yes, but we can't prepare fertilizer in our garden. Yes, so it's pretty expensive. So, one thing I told you that fertilizer is nothing but chemicals. When I say chemical means, think in your mind disadvantages will be there. Of course, it's very obvious. It's a chemical means sure there are disadvantages of fertilizers. Although it is rich in a particular type of nutrient. Yes, it is beneficial. It has got a particular type of nutrient. Yes, but at the same time, it has got a number of disadvantages. Yes, let's see what are the disadvantages of using fertilizers on regular basis and for a long period of time. The first one is, yes, simply fertilizers chemical means definitely it's not going to provide organic matter as manure. Manure is rich in organic matter, of course. Yes, so manure provides the organic matter, but fertilizer doesn't provide any organic matter. Yes, it's only rich in potassium, phosphorus and nitrogen. It doesn't contain organic matter. So it doesn't have the ability to supply organic matter to our soil. Yes, next. Since it's chemical, it's very harmful for the insects in the soil, especially the earthworm, which is the friend of farmer. Yes, and we know how useful earthworm is for farmers. It helps in making manures. Yes, it keeps the soil fertile. It makes the soil fertile. Who? Earthworm. And if we are going to use fertilizers on a regular basis, then definitely this chemical is going to kill the insects in the soil, to kill the earthworm, which is very useful for farmer. Yes, we know it. Yes, earthworm is regarded as farmer's friend. And why so? Because it helps in preparing the manure. Yes, and if it gets killed by this fertilizer, then there's a great loss for the farmer. So it kills, the chemical kills the microorganism or insects present inside the soil. So next, if it's a chemical. Again, it's a chemical. So if we are going to use continuously, repeatedly for a long period of time, what's going to happen? The soil will lose its fertility. Yes, soil fertility will decrease. Yes, what will happen if we are going to use this fertilizer for a longer period of time and on regular basis? Definitely, the soil will lose its nutrient. The soil will loses its fertility, and that will hamper in the agriculture production. Yes, so we should be very careful, and we should not use pesticides over a long period of time. And what is the most important disadvantage of using this fertilizer is that it causes water pollution. Yes, my dear students, it causes water pollution. Of course, how? How it causes water pollution? You know, watering the plants. Yes, already you have supplied a lots of fertilizers to the crops. And again, when you are watering the plant or watering the crop, the excess water will flow away with the nutrients present in the soil, with the chemicals with the soil, and that water will go and mix in the river, and the river water gets polluted, isn't it? Yes, you have already given the fertilizers to the crop. Now it's the turn of watering the crop. You watered the plant. Yes, and that excess remaining water flows out of the agricultural field with that of the chemicals, and indirectly where it is going to mix? It's going to mix with the river water or pond water or lake water. And what will happen to that water bodies? The water gets polluted. So fertilizers can cause water pollution. Yes, now you got it. So many disadvantages are there of using fertilizer. So best is to use manure, but still our agricultural crops require some nutrients like sodium, potassium and phosphorus. Yes, so now we came across manures and fertilizers. Manure is a completely natural product, and fertilizer, that's a completely chemical. So let's differentiate between your manures and fertilizers. And yes, my dear students, it's a very important question. Differentiate between manures and fertilizers. Yes, let's differentiate it. So manures and fertilizers. Manures, obviously, the first differentiation is that it's an organic matter. Yes, manure is an organic matter, whereas fertilizers are chemicals. Yes, manures are organic matter and fertilizers are chemicals. Your manure can be prepared in the garden itself, in the field itself, but fertilizers can be prepared in factories. We can't prepare your fertilizers in our garden, isn't it? So first differentiation, manure is an organic matter. And here fertilizer, it's a chemical prepared in factories. Manures are prepared in garden or agricultural field. The first differentiation. Second one, manures don't have any harmful effect. It's natural. Yes, it's very, very natural. So it doesn't have any harmful effects. It doesn't kill any organism or insects inside the soil. It's very natural. It doesn't have any harmful effects on the soil. Yes, it doesn't causes the loss of fertility of the soil. So it's very natural and it's not harmful. Which one? Manure. But on the contrary, your fertilizers have got lots of side effects. Just now we discussed about the disadvantages of fertilizers. Yes, dear children. So, your fertilizers has got number of side effects since it's a chemical. Let's move on to the third differentiation between manures and fertilizers. Yes, it's provide organic matter, and here fertilizers provide a particular type of nutrient to the soil. Yes? Yes or no? Manure only provide organic matter, but fertilizers, they provides nutrients. Either it may be nitrogen or phosphorus or potassium. Yes, but our manure will provide only organic matter. Okay. Now, fourth differentiation is that manure is all-time best used for agriculture. It's a very useful for long-term use. Yes, it's very good for long-term soil fertility. To maintain the soil fertility, manure can be used over a long period of time. But on the contrary, we can't use fertilizers for a long period of time because it's going to hamper the soil. The soil fertility will decrease. Yes, so another differentiation is that we can use the manure or organic matter over a long period of time, but we cannot use fertilizers because it decreases the fertility of the soil. Yes, now, but the problematic situation in case of manure is that it's very bulky to carry. Yes, it's very bulky, it's in heaps. We can't carry. We need a truck to carry these manures. But fertilizers, it's simply available in small packets. You can easily carry. The problem is that we can't carry manure easily. But your fertilizers are very convenient to carry. Yes. And it's again, one of the drawbacks of manure is that it's not as effective as fertilizers. Yes. Manure is not as effective as fertilizer. Why? Because means it will only provide organic matter. It's not going to provide your potassium, phosphorus and all this. Yes. It's only provide organic matter. Whereas your fertilizer is going to provide your potassium, phosphorus and all those things. Yes. Now you understood. Now you can differentiate between manures and fertilizers. Manure completely natural. Fertilizers chemical. Manure can be prepared in garden, but fertilizers can be prepared only in factories. Manure helps in retaining the soil fertility, but fertilizers, if we are going to use continuously over a long period, the soil fertility will decrease. Organic matter, your manure will not kill the germs. It will kill the microorganisms. Yes, but manure is bulky to carry. It's very easy and convenient to carry. Which one? Fertilizers. Yes, but manure is not as effective as your fertilizers because it has got only your manures, organic matter. While fertilizers provide a particular type of nutrient. Hope you guys understood and differentiate between manures and fertilizers. Now, let's move on to the another agricultural practices which you are quite aware of. That is nothing but irrigation or watering of plants. And that's an important step. That's an important step while growing a plant or while growing a tree or while cultivating any kind of. Guys, now let's move on to the most important agricultural task, that is nothing but irrigation. Yes, so now we are going to discuss about irrigation or watering the crops. It's very important task because without watering you can't have enough yield. Even you see in our garden, if you are not going to water the plants at regular intervals, the plant will die. The plant will not give any kinds of flower, fruit or leaves. Yes or no? So watering is a must. But in our country and also in some poor countries even, we mostly rely on rain or not. Yes, we mostly depends on rain for agricultural crops. But we can't rely on nature. Sometimes there will be enough rainfall and sometimes there will be zero rainfall. Yes, so we need a proper irrigation system. Yes, we need a proper irrigation system in case there is a scarcity of water. Yes, so now let's see what are the different irrigation system required to have a good yield. We all know water is very essential for a plants. Because from the roots, when you are going to pour water in the plants, the roots absorbs the water and from there it absorbs the nutrients, and nutrients is essential for plants. We all know that. Yes, so generally water is absorbed by roots. And through that water, it carries the nutrients, and that nutrients is very, very essential. Water is also very essential for germination of seeds. If you are not going to water the seeds, how will it germinate? How will it turn into a plant? How will it give you birds, flowers, fruits? Not at all. So watering is the major task in an agricultural practices. So without relying on or without depending on our nature for rainfall, we should cultivate a good irrigation system. Yes. So let's see what are the good irrigation system we are doing in our country, India. There are various. We get water from various sources. From wells, from your tube wells, from ponds, from lakes, from rivers. Yes or no? These are actually some of the modern methods. Yes. Now I am going to discuss some of the modern techniques or modern irrigating system from where water is extracted and fetched into the irrigation land. Yes, so there are various sources. You can go for some modern technique. Wells are there, of course. You know that. You have seen in movies. You have seen in some Discovery channels. Well fetches the water. Yes, another you can go for canals. Canals are there. So tanks are there. Ponds are there. Lakes are there. Rivers are there. They all give supply water for the agricultural crops. So let's see one by one. First one, wells. Yes, you all have seen wells. Even some of you are having wells at their home even. Yes, and these wells can be of two types, dear students. Yes, these wells can be of two types. Yes, the wells can be of two types. The first one is dug wells. Yes, and the second one is tube wells. Tube wells, most of you are aware of it. Yes, dug wells and tube wells. Dug wells, the normal traditional well, we are quite used to it. Yes, it's generally used to extract the underground water. We generally extract the water with the help of a rope and a bucket. The traditional old well. Yes, the traditional old well, dug wells. Yes, but it's a very difficult task. You have to do manually, and I'm not going to draw the water and fetch the water all through large scale. Yes, it's impossible. It's a great labor for me, or it's a great labor for the farmers. It's very difficult, isn't it? To draw the water from the mug and to fetch huge agricultural fields. It's very difficult. Yes or no? It's actually a traditional method. It's actually a traditional method of dug wells, where the farmer used to draw the water with the help of a rope and a bucket and to fetch the irrigation land. But it takes a lots of time and lots of labor of the farmer. Yes, but one thing is that this dug was quite a cheap idea as compared to tube wells. Yes, dug wells are cheaper than tube wells, because in tube wells a motor is required. It's a complete setup. A motor is used to draw the water from the underground. But one benefit of tube wells is that we can draw water from underground, from most depth of the ground or depth of the earth. That is the most benefit of tube wells. Yes, so wells, two types. What is it? Dug wells and your tube wells. Dug wells, traditional method. Yes, the regular wells where the farmer used to draw the water through ropes and the bucket. Yes, and the ropes are attached to the pulley. They used to draw the water with the help of the bucket and used to fetch the irrigation field. Yes, and but it takes a loads of hard work of the farmer. Yes, and takes loads of time. We can't depend on this type of system if we want a good yield. So we should cultivate The next idea, tube wells. Yes, tube wells. A motor is required. Simply, tube wells are what? A motor is required. It's a complete setup with motor which helps in drawing the water from deep, very, very deep inside the ground and fetching into the agricultural fields. Yes, but the thing is that these tube wells are quite costlier than your dug wells. A rich farmer can afford it. Yes, but it saves time and labor. Understood? The first irrigating system, that is tube well. The next irrigating system is canals. You are quite aware. Suppose very near or very close to the agricultural crop, a river is flowing. Yes, very close to your agricultural field, a river is flowing. Yes, you can dig a number of canals out of that river, and that canals are directly linked to your agricultural fields. Then definitely the river water will flow through the canals and finally to your agricultural field. It's the most convenient method of irrigation. Yes or no? Yes. So digging canals, it's very efficient method of irrigation. It's actually a man-made. Yes, it's a man-made water channels originating from rivers or water reservoirs. Water canals, these are man-made water channels. Of course, yes, river is there. You have made that canals, and that canals are connected to your agricultural field, or that canals are connected to the agricultural fields of farmers. So indirectly the river water will flow into the canals, and that water will again flow into your agricultural fields. Yes or no? So canals are the man-made reservoirs. You only have to do, or with the help of some laborers, you can just dig canals from the main rivers, and that canals must be connected to the agricultural fields. Yes or no? So water canals, the man-made water channels originating from rivers or any water reservoirs. It's the most convenient one to fetch water to such huge agricultural field. Yes, digging of canals from the rivers. And indirectly this river water is going through the canals and finally to the agricultural crops. So there won't be any problem for them. Yes. So the next thing, tanks. We are quite aware of tanks. Tanks is actually what? Tanks is actually built to store the rainwater. When there is an enough rainfall, you can store the rainwater for irrigation in a tank or in case of your pond even. Yes, and after that, that rainwater can be utilized for irrigation. Isn't it? So tank is very, very beneficial for the storage of the rainwater. Yes, mostly for the storage of the rainwater. It's very useful, and after the rainfall is done, you can use this rainwater for agriculture. Yes. So we have come across a number of methods. You know wells now, dug wells, the normal bucket and rope method. It's a cheaper method, but takes a loads of time and loads of labor. Secondly, tube wells. It's a motor system. It's a completely a motor system. A motor pump is required. It's a complete setup, you know. Yes, it's costlier but beneficial. The most efficient one is your canal, my dear children. Canal. Because you have to just dig some canals, or it's a man-made water channels that will be directly connected to your agricultural fields, and water from the river will move to the agricultural crops. Yes, and tanks, of course, tanks and ponds for the storage of rainwater, and after the rain has gone, that rainwater is used for your agriculture. Yes, now rainwater harvesting. You might have come across the word rainwater harvesting. What is rainwater harvesting? You have seen most of the rainfall or most of the rainwater. Yes, most of the rainwater flows out. Yes or no? Most of the rainwater, they flows out or mix with some rivers or waters. Yes or no? The idea is to store that rainwater. Suppose you have got a huge terrace over your house. Yes? And there, what you will do during the rainy season, the water gets collected over the terrace, and from that terrace, your pipes are connected, and that pipes are directly moved into the tanks. So definitely the rainwater from the terrace will enter into your tank, and this water you can utilize for number of purposes. And this tank store rainwater can be used for irrigation. Yes or no? So rainwater harvesting, it's a very important process. It's a very important utilization of some of the irrigation methods utilizing for the use of water in the agricultural crops. So these are generally modern techniques. Yes, and the most important thing just now I told you about rainwater harvesting. Yes, you have to preserve the running rainwater. Yes, suppose there is a huge terrace over your house. Water gets stored during the rainy season. That water through the pipes are collected in tanks, and once you are done with it, that water is going to be used in the irrigation. Yes, it's a most beneficial method, my dear children. Yes, so we came across some of the methods, some of the modern techniques for irrigating the agricultural crops. So earlier, my dear students, very earlier, there are some traditional methods. Yes, there are some traditional methods of irrigation. Yes, like your moat. Three are there, sorry. Moat, rahat and dhekli. Yes, the three types of traditional methods of irrigation are moat, rahat and dhekli. What are the three old techniques of watering the crops? They are your moat, yes, M-O-A-T, moat, and second one, rahat, R-A-H-A-T, rahat, and the third one is your dhekli. Yes, so what are the three traditional methods of watering the agricultural crops? Yes, of course, moat, rahat and dhekli. Ma'am, what is a moat? What is a moat? It's a very simple, just like wells. You simply require a well, rope, pulley and bucket. That's it. Moat is the very traditional method. Just now I explained you in case of well. The farmer used to draw the water from the well with the rope which is attached to the pulley. Yes, and finally water is drawn from the ground and fetched into the irrigating land. But it's manually done. Yes, it takes a loads of efforts and hard work of the farmer and loads of time. We are not going to fetch so much large scale of agricultural field by just drawing water with a single bucket of water. No, it's not possible. Yes, that's why we shifted to the advanced mode of irrigation that I will let you know. So, moat, traditional method of drawing water with the help of rope and a bucket. Yes. Next, your rahat. Yes, you might have seen in some movie rahat. What is rahat system of irrigation? Rahat, R-A-H-A-T. What is the rahat system of irrigation? Actually, it requires a very big well. And a wheel is attached, just like your giant wheel. A wheel is attached to that well, and in that wheel, number of buckets are there. You just imagine what you have seen in your movies. A large well is there, and a big cartwheel, just like your cartwheel. A big cartwheel is attached to it, and over that wheel, number of buckets are attached to it. And that wheel is tied to the oxen. Yes, that wheel is tied to the turned by the oxen. Yes, what is rahat? Big well is required, to which a big cartwheel is attached, and to that cartwheel number of buckets are being fixed. Yes, and that wheel is water is drawn from the big well. Just imagine the diagram. Just imagine that picture which you have seen in your movies. It's actually very big well. Big cart wheel in the middle. In that wheel, what happened? Number of buckets are attached and that wheels are turned by a oxen. The oxen will move. The giant wheel will move and the buckets will carry or draw the water from the well and fetch the agricultural crops. It's also a very traditional method. Yes. So what is Rahat system? Big well, big cartwheel. Cartwheel has got number of buckets. Yes. And that is just turned by an oxen. And that oxen moves or turns. The cartwheel will rotate and draw the water from the well and fetch the agricultural crops. Yes. Now we are done with Mot. We are done with Rahat. Now let's move on to your Dhekli system. It's even the same. Yes, it's even the same, the Dhekli system of irrigation. It's also a traditional system which requires lots of efforts. Yes, it's also drawn or water lifting. Water lifting with ropes and containers as we have discussed in wells. Yes, so Dhekli system is simply water lifting with the help of ropes. Yes, it's also very traditional. It requires a lots of hard work and lots of time and patience. So we are not going to follow this. Being in this generation, we are not going to follow this traditional method of Mot, Rahat and Dhekli. Rather, we should move on to the extremely modern techniques of irrigation. What are the modern irrigation system? 2. Sprinkler system and drip irrigation system. Yes, the two modern methods of irrigation system is your drip system, drip irrigation system and your sprinkler system. What is it? The two methods are your drip irrigation. Yes. Drip irrigation and the second modern method is your what? Sprinkler irrigation system. Yes. So what are the two extremely advanced technique of irrigation is drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation. Drip irrigation system, sprinkler irrigation system. Drip. You know drip. Drop, drop. Yes, drop of water. And actually, in a plant where we pour the water, the roots actually requires the water. We generally pour water in the roots. Yes, but when there is the scarcity of water, we can follow the technique of drip irrigation system. A long pipe is there. Yes, and exactly near the roots, a hole is made in that pipe and water flows from that pipe in a drop-wise manner. Yes, drops of water reaches the roots of the plants with the drip irrigation. Yes, drip irrigation means it has got a long tube-like structure, long pipe. Yes, and that long pipe has got holes done by the man only. Yes, it's a long pipe and when it reaches near the roots, a hole is made in the pipe so that water can be fetched to the roots drop-wise so that there is no wastage of water and this can be applied when there is scarcity of rain. Yes or no? So this is an important system, an advanced system of irrigation, fetching the plant with water drop-wise. Yes, and the drops comes from the long pipe which has been attached to a tanks or whatever it may be. Yes, but the root receives the water in drop-wise. The roots receive the water in a drop-wise manner. And of course, it saves time, it saves water and the most smarter way for irrigation of field. Yes, so this is the first way and the second modern method is your sprinkler system. You might have seen all these in movies. Sprinkler system. It's actually a perpendicular pipe with a rotating nozzle. Yes, what is sprinkler system means? Just like your fountains. I can compare it with a fountain. So it's a perpendicular pipe. Yes, it's a perpendicular pipe with a rotating nozzle. It's a perpendicular pipe with a rotating nozzle, and the nozzles will rotate and the entire field will be fetched with water. Yes, just like a sprinkle. Yes, sprinkler irrigation means a sprinkler is a perpendicular system with a rotating nozzle at its top, and it rotates and the water is sprinkled all through the large irrigation field. Yes, so these are the two advanced methods of irrigation. So now I hope you understood what is irrigation and what is not. Yes, how we can improve the cultivation, how we can get the agricultural crops in better quantity. Yes, by following a good irrigation system. Yes, so now let's move on to the next agricultural practices, that is weeds. I have told you in the beginning of the last video, weeds. My grandfather told me about weeds. Weeding. Yes, removal of weeds. The next very important agricultural practices is removal of weeds. I told you what are weeds. It's actually the undesirable plants. It's actually the unwanted plants that generally grows with the actual crops. And they generally compete with the agricultural crops for everything. For water, nutrients, sunlight. Yes, and that we don't want. We don't want a competition between a weeds and actual crops. We don't want a weed. We want our wheat crops. Yes, so weeds are generally the unwanted crops or the unwanted plants that grow along with the main crop or main agricultural crops. Yes, I hope you understood what are weeds. Weeds are the unwanted crops that are grown along with the main crop. Yes, and they compete with the main crop for sunlight, for nutrients and water. Yes. So actually we don't want weeds. We want our actual crops. So what should be done? The weeds should be removed. Yes, the weeds should be removed. But how? Manually it was done. Earlier, the older days, it was done manually. A kurpi. You have seen a sickle-shaped kurpi. Yes, a kurpi was taken and manually they were removing. Even now also, I have seen in some places, they uses the kurpi for removing this unwanted weeds. Yes, traditionally they use a kurpi to remove these weeds to separate the weeds from the main crop. Traditionally what they were using? Kurpi, which is a sickle-shaped. Which they used to do manually to remove the weeds which are competing from the main crops. Isn't it? That was a traditional method, using of kurpi. Yes, but nowadays the modern techniques are using of weedicides. Weedicides means these are chemicals that are sprayed in the field for killing the weeds or for removing the weeds. Yes, so that are called weedicides. These chemicals are called weedicides, and these weedicides are sprayed over the large agricultural fields to remove the weeds which we don't want. Yes, got it? What are weeds? The unwanted, undesirable plants that grow along with the main crops are called weeds, and we don't want such weeds because they are competing with our main crops. Yes, so weeds need to be removed. How will it be removed? By using the modern method called weedicides. What are weedicides? These are chemicals. Yes, which are sprayed over the agricultural fields. This leads to the removal or dying of the unwanted plants. But in the traditional method, remember, sickle-shaped kurpi, manually done, lots of labor. Yes, so this is what weeding called. Now, the next important thing. So we are done with preparation of soil. We are done with sowing of the seeds. We are done with your fertilizers. We added fertilizers. We added manures. We watered the crops. We removed the unwanted plants. Now what is to be done. Well, what is we have to wait till the crops get mature. Yes, now it's ready to harvest. Yes, so next, the most important agricultural practice is harvesting. Yes, harvesting. Of course, once the crops are done, once the crops get matured. Yes, once the crops get matured, obviously, we need to go for harvesting. What is harvesting? Separation of the main crop from the plant. Yes, the separation of wheat from wheat plant, the separation of rice from rice plant, the separation of fruits from fruit plants. That is harvesting. We need to get the original crop what we want. That is called harvesting. Yes, traditional method. What was the traditional method? Sickle. You have seen the sickle. They used to do manually, lots of hard work, lots of time it will take. So traditionally they use the sickle shaped. Yes, sickle shape, and they used to cut and harvest the crops once it is mature. But nowadays for harvesting they use the what? Cultivators or harvester. Yes, nowadays harvester is being used to harvest the crops. Yes, so we cut down the crops, we got the crops. But another important task is winnowing. Yes, what is winnowing? Yes, what is harvesting we read? The separation of the seeds or the main crops from the plant. That is called harvesting. What is winnowing? You might have seen the, for example, the seeds of wheat or rice. A cover is there. Yes, a layer of cover, chilka जिसे बोलते हैं. Yes, a cover is there around the grain. This separation of grain from the calf, C-A-F-F, calf means chilka. Yes, the outer covering. Yes, the separation of the grains from the calf is called winnowing. Yes, the separation of the main grains, the separation of the main seeds from the chaff, C-A-F-F, calf, is called winnowing. So after harvesting, we should go for winnowing. What is winnowing? Separation of the calf from the grains, which is called winnowing. Think if both the work can be done by a single machine. Yes, combining both your harvesting and winnowing. Isn't it be a better idea? Yes, of course. It will save the time of the farmer with less work, with less labor. Yes or no? Yes. And there comes the new modern technique machine called combine. Combining both harvesting and winnowing. This is a machine which helps in both harvesting as well as your winnowing. Yes, so we should go for combine machine. Yes, it's a combination of harvesting and winnowing. The cutting of the crops as well as separation of the calf from the seeds. So what we should go for? If you want to have a good yield of agricultural crops, that is nothing but your combine. It will combine both harvesting as well as winnowing. Yes, we are done with harvesting. Now what's the most important task? Yes, we got the crops. We are so happy. And we are so happy that we are also celebrating some harvesting festival. Isn't it or not? Pongal, Bihu, Baisakhi. Yes, these festivals are celebrated all through India to celebrate and in the happiness of getting the new crops. Yes, so we celebrate Bihu, we celebrate your Pongal, you celebrate your Sankranti. Yes, Diwali for getting a good harvest. Isn't it? Now that we are happy, we enjoyed the festival. Now the most important task is to store that crops. It's a very difficult task. We need to store it properly or otherwise the moisture, the germs, the microorganisms, the insects, they are going to spoil the crops if you are not going to store it properly. You need to store the crops properly or else it will get damaged. So what you will do to store? Actually, wheat, rice, all these are stored in large jute bags. And that jute bags are carried to the factories or to the granaries. Yes, so where the grains are stored? The grains are stored in a huge jute bag, and that jute bag is carried to granaries, or some of them can use the metallic bins. It's a airtight metallic bins which is used to store the grains. Yes, huge heavy metallic bins are there for the storage of the crops. Or else definitely the moisture in the air, the rats, the microorganisms, they are going to spoil the crops and we don't want it. Yes, so we need to store it properly in either jute bags or in large metallic bins that are being carried to factories or granaries. Isn't it? But in traditional method, you might have seen your grandmother or your mother, yes, how they used to store. They keep some dried neem leaves. Yes, what they used to do? They used to keep dried neem leaves to protect the crops or to protect the grains or any food items from spoiling by microorganisms or other insects. So in this way, we need to store the crops properly. Yes, so with this, we come to an end of the various agricultural practices. But in my starting of agriculture or crop production, I told you our nurturing of animals. Yes, that is nothing but animal husbandry. We get food not only from plants, we are getting food products from animals. We are getting meat, milk, dairy products, eggs, all those from animals. So, animal husbandry is also a part of agriculture. You have seen your milkman coming every day and your mother is going to take the milk. That milkman has gone for animal husbandry. Yes, raising of the animals, nurturing the animals to get food products like your egg, milk, meat. Yes, and from that milk you are getting cheese and butter, all those things. Yes or no? So it's very important to cultivate the practice of animal husbandry also, because we are getting food from both plants and animals. Hope, my dear students, you all understood how to grow crops, how to grow animals in order to get healthy, good yield of crops and good food products. So try cultivating these ideas whenever you are thinking to start doing agriculture. So do let me know, did you like the class or not? Let me know in the comment section. So guys, stay healthy, stay happy, and we will meet again.